Welcome back after the break. Digital platform of a subsidiary, very famous British newspaper, The Economist. 1843 is the digital platform which has recently published an article about Imran Khan and his wife Bushra Bibi, and the title of this article is very interesting. It's The Mystic, the Cricketer and the Spy, Pakistan's Game of Thrones. Now, this has created a lot of anger in the country from PTI supporters obviously, but there are people who are actually in agreement with this article, and they have said openly that there are facts in this article, but PTI has threatened this platform that they will take them into the court if they do not publicly apologize. Now, when I have read this article, and to be honest, there's so many things which are already in public knowledge with regards to the people who have actually accused Bushra Bibi of using black magic or her spiritual. She has actually had a control over Imran Khan by using her spiritual powers. These are the allegations which have been brought against her in the past by different people who were associated with PTI back then. I am joined by a very famous lawyer and a politician from Pakistan. He was also a former law minister, Mr. Babar Awan. Welcome to my show, Mr. Babar Awan. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Now, this article, which is written in the subsidiary digital platform of The Economist, which is called 1843, and the joint writers are Owen Bennett-Jones and Bushra Taskeen. Now, most of the people doesn't know who Bushra Taskeen is, but Owen Bennett-Jones is very renowned journalist, and he's the one who actually wrote a book on Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto as well. First of all, if you can just tell me what are your thoughts about this article?
Thank you, Samina. There are two angles which must be taken as, first of all, the preface to this article which is written. One is the timing on which it was written. For about more than 10 days, Pakistani media, mainstream media, social media, they were talking about 27th Constitutional Amendment. And in the meantime, suddenly one day in the morning, people saw that, and the private investigators, those who work in the Supreme Court, they were talking about the 27th Constitutional Amendment. And in 27th Constitutional Amendment, in fact, Pakistan's constitution in many ways, it is rewritten. That is why the total focus and the eye of the media was on this subject. Then one fine morning, everybody gets up and see that, there is some article which is written by some subsidiary of a newspaper that is taking headlines in the Pakistani media, chosen media. That number one. And number two is that Pakistan has different perspective of issues right now in Pakistan. One is we have hot border with Afghanistan. We have similar situation on Indian side as well. The east and west is hot borders. Number two, there's an instability, political instability in Pakistan because of the elections which were rigged massively, and the people, those who won, they were defeated by a technology of using Form 47. Now, third thing is the economy is not picking up. Fourth thing is that we are selling the only PIA, our flag carrier, which we had. So for the people, this has got absolutely no significance in Pakistan. It has not been taken seriously.
Right. I mean, I take your words that, as you mentioned, it has not been taken seriously, but this is not what we are seeing. Actually, we are seeing a lot of interest. And this story is not only published got attraction in Pakistan. I have seen in Indian media, in British media as well, that they have actually have discussed this article. But having said that, I just want to actually, what I actually want to find out is PTI taking this seriously? Are they willing to take this to court if, like you mentioned earlier on, that's just a propaganda? So are you trying to challenge this or trying to take this to court?
That is under consideration at the lawyers level as well as on the party level as well. And another thought is that we have a government which is in the largest second province in Pakistan, which is Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Maybe that government takes the lead, but we are considering this aspect. Uh, Having said that, there are 2 points which I wanted to highlight. Point number one is that India is taking interest, or some corners which are concerned about Pakistan's political positioning is taking interest is one thing. But we are talking about the masses in Pakistan, those who live on the mainland. They have not taken it seriously, because it is not for the first time that she has been made a victim just because that she is the wife of Imran Khan. Very personal matters, they were taken to the court. Very personal cases were filed against her. In the beginning, it was said that she was involved in the corruption cases. Nothing has emerged so far. For 3.5 years, the regime, first regime, second regime, and now there's a third regime in place, but nothing has happened like that.
Right.
Second side is that Imran Khan supporters apart, right now, the intelligentsia in Pakistan is concerned only about civil rights which are being jeopardized through these amendment number 1, 26, and now 27.
Right. Okay. I mean, if, for example, as you mentioned, that KPK might, the government might try and they will take this into court, this magazine into court. What are the legal matters? As a legal analyst, if you can just share those legal matters with us.
You have seen recently many cases, and you live in the world where personal injuries cases and defamation cases, they come up quite a lot in the courts, but not in Pakistan, unfortunately. The law is not very strong, and the courts are also not very strong, I'll say that very frankly.
Yeah, right.
Now, there are two things which are required. If somebody makes an allegation of any type against a person who has nothing to do with those allegations, then the onus of the proof is on the person who accuses the one who is the victim. Now, in this case, it is the newspaper or the two names which you have mentioned. One looks like Pakistani name or Indian name, and the other name is some English name.
Bushra
They
Bibi and
both
Ovid
have to
Bennett
come up-
Jones.
Yeah. Both have to come before the court with unrebuttable pieces of evidence which they have collected regarding the black magic. And what they have alleged, I have not frankly read, and I didn't want to waste my time on these false stories, because we have been reading it for the last so many years again, Imran Khan and his family, and particularly targeting the Bushra Bibi.
Right. You've just mentioned about defamation, but I'm not, I don't have a legal background, but from my knowledge, I think defamation cases are actually those where if there's something not in the public knowledge. Now, most of the things, I know you have just said you have not read this article, I have read it, but there's so many things I don't think so. They were the things which people will be reading it for the first time about Imran Khan or Bushra Bibi. That is already in public domain. So under those circumstances, do you think this still be a case of defamation? I'm just asking this question for my understanding and for the public understanding.
I cannot tell right now what type of case, if it is to be filed, will be filed, number one. And second is that any allegation which comes, which is a bald allegation, that is to be proved by the person who is making the allegation, basically. That's the fundamental principle of law. To understand that doesn't matter that a person is a lawyer or not. Allegation which is bald, allegation which is supported by no evidence, allegation for which only political agenda driven media is repeating it, that does not matter in the court for the purposes of proving the allegation.
Okay, right. Now, there are certain, there is a mention of some personalized messages or the incidents, I would rather say, happened to some of the PTI supporters previously. Like in this article, it is mentioned, according to Chaudhry, Khan's long-time political aide, he was barred from attending Khan's 2018 oath-taking ceremony after receiving a text message from Khan himself where he wrote, Bushra Begum has had a dream last night. She cannot go to the ceremony tomorrow if you are there. And Awan Chaudhry was dismissed the next day. Now, this is a personal statement from Awan Chaudhry, which is a part of this article. Do you think that's also a baseless allegation against her?
All allegations, for that matter, the person you are mentioning is not the one who has written it. Article is written by a third party.
Yes, but I'm sure they must have interviewed him or contacted him, and he must have endorsed the statement.
No, we are just presuming that they might have.
Okay.
But there is absolutely no proof of the fact that he was ever interviewed or something has happened like that.
Right. This article further states that Khan sought her guidance for official appointments, sometimes sending her photographs of potential candidates because she claimed to be able to read faces. One relative recounted that Khan delayed a flight for 4 hours because Bushra Bibi told him the timing was not spiritually favorable for his travel.
You know the education of Bushra Bibi, and you know the education of Imran Khan, the educational background, where does he have studies. And he has lived a lot of time in UK, I think, for many years rather. What do you think? The person of his stature would believe such things and he will go after haywire allegations and he will go after haywire and fantasies?
No, he shouldn't, but that's why in this article it's mentioned that she has immense control, spiritual control over Imran Khan, and that's what...
I highly condemn that article, which is based upon presumptions, and I'm sure that these two persons, those who have written the article, they have never visited Bani Khala from outside. They do not know inside, and they do not know the working of the party. They were not part of the government. They do not know. I was part of the cabinet.
Yes.
And I know the mode of working was what. And everything was taken to political side first, which was the party's core committee, if there's an issue which we wanted to implement in the country, and then it was discussed in the cabinet. These were two forums where decisions were made. And I give you an example. Against Imran Khan, a case was made where the money was lying in the Supreme Court of Pakistan, and it was said that he has taken the money and constructed some university. One. Number two was that he took it to the cabinet and got the approval. So meaning thereby that every little thing which came in the knowledge of the cabinet was discussed and matter were decided. There was no decision making on the backside like this.
Right. Okay. I agree with a few points which you have just mentioned here. And to be honest, personally, I don't agree with one thing, which was the photographs of Bushra Bibi, because she wear veil, and I think we should respect that if a woman doesn't want to show her face, that face should not be shown. And with this article, I think some of the pictures, which I don't agree with that kind of editorial decision what has been made. But there's another thing which I want to mention from this article, because as you said just before about Awan Chaudhry, that you completely dismisses this statement, but Awan Chaudhry has actually himself has not commented or has not rejected this statement published in the article, and same with Faisal Voda. So with reference to Faisal Voda, the article mentions that a member of Khan's cabinet is quoted as saying that he was frustrated to see Bushra Bibi present or involved in discussions at the highest level. He said he had heard of one meeting with the then Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa in which she spoke more than either of them. Now, this is a statement in relation to Faisal Voda in this article, but even Faisal Voda has not rejected the claims.
I'll make no comment further, as I've rejected the interview at entirety. It's a bunch of lies, and it is not based upon the facts or investigation.
Right. Okay. Let's discuss about the credibility of these journalists. Now, as you mentioned yourself, and I mentioned it myself, that I have never heard Bushra Taskeen's name before, but the co-author, Owen Bennett Jones, is a very renowned journalist, and I'm sure you must be aware of his work in Pakistan. I think he's familiar with Pakistan. He wrote a book on Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto and her sacrifices within the political field. And do you think that he has just published this article in his digital platform without fact checking, or just checking whatever is in the article against the facts, and he has not consulted his solicitors before publishing this article?
I don't know him, frankly. I've heard this name. I know number of people from England and UK, but I've not heard his name, incidentally, and I've not read his book as well, which you referred to.
Okay.
Having said that, there are two things which are important.
Right.
One is that whosoever's name is there, that does not matter. Look at what they are writing about a woman, targeting a person who is a household wife, targeting a person who is observing Pada. You said yourself that she's wearing veil. And a person whose only crime so far proven is that she is wife of Imran Khan. Nothing else. And then there are other people in the country, those are not being discussed. They also do a lot of things which have tarnished Pakistan internationally, but those are not discussed. These are non-issues, totally non-issues.
Right. Do you really think that magazine or the digital platform has been paid by somebody to publish this article, as most of the PTI people are actually claiming that?
Samina, I wish I was an investigator, would have answered your question. I'm a lawyer, I don't know.
Right. Okay. So now, as a lawyer, I will ask you a question. Do you have any intention, or are you going to advise KPK government if they are actually going ahead to take this magazine to court, to do that in UK? Because as you mentioned yourself, in Pakistan, unfortunately, there will be not much possibility to get the fair trial. But if they can try get a trial here in UK, they might get a better judgment, or they can get a justice.
I'm part of the legal committee of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, but if I'm asked by the government of KPK, I've been doing it previously, I'll do it again. Wherever they need my opinion or the legal advice, I'll give them.
Right. Thank you very much, Babar Awan, for your time and obviously commenting on this article, which I'm sure you just mentioned clearly and truthfully. You have not read it, but thank you for commenting on this.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this was Babar Awan, a very famous lawyer and politician, and he was a former law minister when it was a PTI government, even for a short time, but he was a law minister then, and he has categorically rejected this article, and also hinting to take this to court. But obviously he has not read the article, so he is not insight of it. But what I would say, and what my research so far has actually told me, and I researched for this program this morning as well, this afternoon as well, Faisal Warda and Owen Chaudhary has not rejected the statement which has been mentioned in this article with their names. And if they have not rejected them, that means they have endorsed them. And I'm sure that Bushra Taskeen or Bennett Owen Jones must have interviewed them, took their stance, and then made a part of this article. But we are not here to comment on the authenticity or falseness of this article. We're just here to discuss whatever they have written. And as I mentioned before, that most of the things which are part of this article were not new to the readers or to Pakistani public, because most of them are already in public domain. With regards to Bushra Bibi's spiritual powers or I mean, the way she alleged in this article that she controlled Imran Khan and she was the one who actually running the government are already in public domain. People have discussed it so many times. Even Reham Khan wrote a book and she mentioned this in the book. Then there's another female, which I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, but she also published a book and she made a claim. There are so many people in PTI who were part of PTI before, but they're not at the moment. They actually stated almost the same incidents which are part of this article. So these are not new revelations. They were already there and people are aware of this. So now I'm going to go back to my guest Shahram Mashood, who was part of this program from the beginning, and we were discussing the asylum law in asylum policy, which is obviously quite devastating for those who are in the country or who are hoping to get asylum, because most of the people, they want to come to this country to get a better life, or at least they know they're human, they will get some human rights. I'm going to take a short commercial break and I'll see you after the break.